What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for today. So unfortunately, Underdog definitely not as good of a day as we had yesterday on it. Underdog's still going to be very consistent, very profitable over the long term for us. I can almost guarantee you that. I hate guaranteeing anything, but I'm telling you guys, when you get 3.5x's or even 4.25x's with the friend boost that I talked about yesterday, you're going to win long term, especially when we're getting really insanely good bumps and stuff and really good closing line value on these picks, right? So disappointing day on Underdog overall. But again, we're going to bounce back. This is a long-term thing. This is like, we had like 3 or 4 entries out. And if those 3 or 4 entries miss, it's not that big of a deal. We want to see like 50, 100, 150 entries happen. And I'll tell you that we're going to, make a lot of money long-term on Underdog, right? So get into Underdog. I will also say that we have some setups going into today with these different League of Legends props or Dota props or Call of Duty props. And that is on Prizepicks, right? So Julius Randle was the pick that I gave out in yesterday's video. That goes ahead and hits at under 20.5 points. And then these 2 little like lightning bolt and taco plays that we have here. I talked about this the other day, but I took Sky's under 25.5 kills, and now he's at 24. He actually bumped to this about a day ago, so that's nice to see there. And then on REBET, we go ahead and hit again another straight bet. We hit this yesterday's video, of course, and we took Jazz and Washington Wizards to go under 142.5 points. That hits very easily there. I will say the straight bets have been absolutely crushing it, right? There's nothing to say about that. We've been dominating the straight bets. Here are the past, what is this? I think this is 7 entries on this channel, all right? And we are 6-1 on this channel on the straight bets. And the only pick that we did miss was up here, which was Warriors money line. And this game happened about 4 days ago. So, it is what it is. But this was an extremely close game where the Warriors were winning pretty much the entire game except that 4th quarter where they did go ahead and lose. But again, losses are going to happen, so that's not a big deal at all. I talked about this the other day too, but an entry like this, we go 6-1, but an entry like this, which happened, I think like a week and a half ago now or something, or maybe like 8-9 days ago. But we played 40 to win 144 on this. And, it doesn't matter whether you bet 5 or whether you bet 200 on this. This was like a 3.8x. So this is a really massive hit here. And again, we're adding another hit to REBET right here with this Jazz Wizards game that happened yesterday, right? So hopefully you guys are tailing the straight bets. If you guys do not have the straight bets, then go ahead and get them on ONYX odds. Let's go ahead and actually just get into the first play, which is going to be on ONYX, all right? So the straight bets that I always send out is going to be on ONYX and going to be on REBET. Of course, here was the pick yesterday on REBET. Hopefully you guys did tail it. I recommend everyone at least gets REBET or ONYX. So one of those two apps, and they are available in all of the states that you see here colored in. So on REBET, on ONYX, you can play this pick. The pick of the day is going to be the Ducks versus the Canadians to go over 6.5 goals in NHL. Hopefully you guys can get this in on ONYX right now, and I'm pretty much paying out 40 to win close to $70. And this is the pick of the day on ONYX odds, guys. It is going to be this Ducks and Canadians game to go over 6.5 goals. It's as simple as that. Like I said, we're on a 6-1 run on the straight bets. If you don't know what I mean by straight bets, it's pretty much just picking one prop. So it's pretty much picking whether it's an over-under, a money line. Sometimes we're going to do player props as well. Like we did Chet under 8.5 rebounds. That hit for us 2 days ago. But it's pretty much everything that's not a parlay, right? Parlay is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 mans. And these are just going to be straight bets that we're ended up betting. And I bet all of these on ONYX and on REBET. I haven't updated this since yesterday, but you'll see all the straight bets here. We added another one to our wins, so we're 63-41, which is a great track record, and we're probably up about 27.5 units because we ended up going up about a unit because of that entry that ended up hitting. And we're probably at like a 22% ROI, which is really crazy on the straight bets there. One last thing that I do want to go over before I get into the Underdog pick and the Prizepicks pick, so you guys already got the ONYX pick today, is this pick right here, right? So it's Planet, and I took this with the Jokic discount. And this was in Dota, right? So we took him at under 6. So this is what we took yesterday at under 6. Now, I posted on Winnable, this is my post right here. I said, this Dota player will bump down to 5.5 or 5 by game time. And I was actually wrong about that because he actually bumped all the way down to 4.5, okay? And this game is not even happening for another like 13 hours. I think he's playing overnight, probably at like 2 a.m., which is a lot of what these esports guys do because they play a lot in Europe and stuff. But Insane bump. All right. We get him at 6. He bumps down to 4.5. What I always say is think about this in NBA terms. Think about if we took, someone at under 6 rebounds and we took him at under 6 or under 6 assists or something like that. And by game time, it's not even game time yet, but by, later in the day or something like that, he bumps down to 4.5. Now you might be looking at this and you might be going like, okay, well, this is probably one of those picks that he sent out. It might have been like a really bad error on Prizepicks' part, and they probably corrected this within the first couple of minutes of him sending it out. That's not true. I sent this out about 30 minutes later. I checked, it was still at 6. And then I checked about 30 minutes after that. So about an hour later after I sent this pick out, and his line was at 5.5. Okay. So he was at 6. And then an hour later, he finally bumped down to 5.5. And I was like, there it is. There's the bump we've been looking for. He might go down to 5. And then I checked this morning and his line's at 4.5. Okay. So it took a full maybe 15, 16 hours for him to finally bump all the way down to 4.5. Again, does this mean that he's going to guarantee go under 6? Of course not, guys. But he could get, 20 kills or something. And at the end of the day, though, we got him at 6. Prizepicks is now agreeing with us and saying, yes, this was way too high. We're going to bump him down to 4.5. And that is what we took him at. We took him at under 6. And again, if he gets 6 kills, we would push. If he gets 5 kills, we would hit. Everyone else taking this at 4.5 today or something like that would miss. And so really solid entry there. And hopefully you guys did get that in. I think this is to my VIP members right there. So let's get into the additional picks of the day. Second pick actually, right? You guys already got the Ducks play. It's going to be on Underdog Fantasy. So let's try to run it back and get another pick here that we can hit on Underdog. It's going to be this Huhi guy, and we're going to take him under 62.04 fantasy points. Now, these lines like this are always going to fluctuate just a little bit. So if this bumps to the high 50s, I would say 58 or 59, I would still take his under. Really, we're betting this more so towards the game script, okay? So taking him under here, again, this is a 3.5x, but it should be friend boosted. And I went over the friend boost yesterday to 4.25x, and that'll be the first link in the description. I think yesterday's pick actually messed up and didn't friend boost it because I was all out of them, but today I'm going to have that. So tail this with the link in the description, or tail this on Winnable, okay? I'm going to send this out as a free pick, so every one of you guys will be able to tail this on Winnable and in the description, and we'll have a lot of people tailing this. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, if I get 2 or more people to tail this bet, which I'm going to get within probably a minute of me sending it out, there's going to be more than 10 of you guys tailing this type of bet like this. This will get boosted from a 3.5x, which is already very good, to a 4.25x, which is even better. It's a 30% friend boost, and we have 3 of them a day. So 3 times a day we're going to be able to bump up an entry from a 3.5x to a 4.25x, which is just insane, right? It's just crazy. That's honestly sometimes what you're going to get with a 3-man. So we're taking him under. We're also taking Shiro under in the game in Dota. This is again happening at 2 a.m. A lot of these Dota games happen early in the morning, like I said, because they're playing overseas, and we're taking him under 75.9 fantasy score. Again, with these fantasy scores, guys, you can take it in this kind of maybe a 73 or a 72. So don't be too scared to take bumps on Underdog right here, especially with the payout being so good. So that's going to be the pick on Underdog. If you guys don't know about Underdog yet, it's the best app to be betting on in 2026. The reason being, it's very clear. They changed their payouts in the middle of February 20th. So this happened 15 days ago or something. So very recent change by them. 3x's are now 3.5x's, 6x's are now 6.5x's. It's the most profitable app to be betting on, bar none. I'm still going to be obviously sending out picks on Prizepicks, but you'd be at a huge disadvantage if you do not have Underdog in today's day and age. Again, play 5, get $75 on Underdog very easily there. All right, pick of the day on Prizepicks, guys, is Jardace Walker to go over 7.5 rebounds plus assists. I actually like him at 8 as well. So take him at 7.5, take him at 8. I think this line should be more like 8.5 or 9. So that's going to be the pick right there in the NBA. And then in Call of Duty, we have 2 guys. We have Estrel and Skies, and we're taking them under 107 kills. And I think this should be more like maybe 104, I think is what the correct value of this would be, okay? So again, I think this should be more like 104. I think this should be more like 8.5, okay? So these are the 2 picks that I'm taking in today's pick on Prizepicks. Here are the 2 plays on Underdog, and then here is obviously the pick that I talked about earlier. Sorry, here it is, which is the Canadians and the Ducks. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Let's keep crushing Underdog. I'm going to be sending out a ton of picks on that, and let's make some more money there. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.